keep you updated of what is happening in the region and across what is also already across the region in the international. We shall be doing that with you. Remember, we are live on StarTimes channel 477, and in case you are just watching us for the very first time, this is the KOKOLIRIKO live show that comes your ways every Mondays to Fridays, right from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And my name is Farish Majid, and we also live on Facebook and also already across all the other social media platforms where you can be able to also really access us each and every mornings, right? Also here in Arua City, and we are saying we are back for the Wednesday edition of the KOKOLIRIKO live show, and today happens to be the 29th day into the month of May, and that means also really we are just left with a day that is to also wind up with the month. But the question you should be asking yourself out there is that how is the year running? Because earlier on we are here, that is already keep informed of the beginning of the year, but already we are in the middle of the year. That means we are just left about also not more than 7 months, and that is also to get done with the month, because after getting into also the 6th month, that means we shall be remaining with 6 months. That's to get done with the year. But the question you should be always asking yourself as the viewer is, how is the year faring? And in case it's not moving on well, then what are you not doing? That is that should be also the question that you should be asking yourself out there. But if really things are moving on well for you, you also need to go back to God and thank Him, because usually there are those who maybe the things could be going in their favor, and whereas there are also those who could not be things could not be working for. But nonetheless, we are saying life must go on regardless of what is happening, and in case things are not moving on right, maybe to you, you should also have a belief that this is not your time, but surely your time will also really come, and that is where we want to start off the discussions right here. And now to begin off the discussions with what is happening on the past this morning, children sue mother over marrying another man in their father's house is another story that we are seeing on the past morning. And the children who are aged between 11 and 13 shocked authorities, that's in Kayunga district, on Monday after they also opened the case against their mother, accusing her of also throwing the trio out. That's in February, after getting married to another man in their deceased father's marital house in there. This is something we did see happening, and appearing before the district probation officer Collins Kafero. The three boys accused, that is for 3-year-old Hadija Nabuton, of mistreatment and chasing them out of their father's house, which is also located in what we call Nyamukonge village in Kayonza sub-county, in also something we did see happening. And the father also, Sapreno Omoding, who was also a renowned traditional healer, died in 2017 at the age of 75, leaving their widow with all the 8 children in there. But this is something we did see happening. However, also when we did see the 5 out of the 8 children are aged between 18 and also have since also left home in there. But among the property Omoding left was a 15-acre piece of land and a permanent family house in there, out of which these children have been thrown out, and that is something we did see happening in there. But that's quite unfortunate, and I really want to say these issues must not be able to happen. But really, why is that people are solely engaging in such activities is the question also already we are asking, because sometimes we see also children also already being thrown out and subjected to total suffering, which is really quite unfortunate after losing their fathers. But really it becomes quite absurd, where we think people who would actually take care of their children also really becoming the perpetrators, and then it becomes quite unfortunate, because as the mother, usually we say the mother's pain is actually that one that is unequaled. But then when we are seeing such mothers really also throwing their children out of their fathers, also their deceased fathers' marital houses, also maybe also draws concerns, and so really this is where we raise questions as far as that matter is concerned. But really the question also really I need to ask out to you as the viewer is that why are such instances happening? Because those days we used to say marriage is meant for life, and this is also really where we were saying, and for better for worse, when we are dating, but really after getting married, just after a few days, you see people who are promising each other, moving as couples, also really becomes quite absurd. And that is why we are saying the world is changing. Today we are seeing also really women who cannot be able to solely live as widows in their father's houses, maybe in their deceased husband's houses. We see them moving away. But really what is causing that is the question also really we are asking ourselves this morning. But really I want to solely implore you as the viewer also to share your opinions and share your ideas on what is happening today. Are these children right? Exactly. Is this woman right to bring another man into their father's, into the late husband's house? This is also the question we should be asking ourselves this morning, and you also really, as the viewer, can share your opinions on that, with us on that. You also really still can do that quite simply by dropping your comment in there. That will be able to share it with the rest of the viewers. But really, I want to solely ask, is it right for this woman to bring another man in her late husband's house? Is the question so really I want to ask this morning. But really, as the viewer, or else I also want to ask, are these children right to drag their mother also really to court also over bringing another man into their deceased father's house? Is also another question that we ask this morning. You feel free to share your opinions and how best also really we can help these children in terms of also really attaining their mission in there. And we did see that happening also really, where these children are now saying that one of them actually completed P7 2023 while his two siblings also really are in P6 and P4 respectively, that at Nyondo RCK Primary School in Kayonza Sub-County. And this is something we did see in there, and the children for that faulted their mother for also really forcefully sending them to their grandfather's home, that's in Kakure's village in Kumi district, as schools opened for term 1 in February. And this is something we did see happening. And Namakonge village LC1 chairperson Annette Nawinjo said Nabutono chased away her children and is happily staying with her new husband in the new, really this is quite absurd, in the new marriage. Really, how can we make people also desist from such tendencies? Because we are asking ourselves this early morning how exactly we should be helping such children, because as an orphan, we really know sometimes how life can be. But really, how do we also really help such children out there? Because really, we need to also give them a lifting hand, because definitely sometimes to get justice, we know it's quite difficult. But really, how do we also really help them in this war they have lodged? Because this is now a war which is not also really going to come easily with their mother. We know also really how mothers can sometimes react, and this is why we are saying these children have lodged a war. How do we help them in this war, and how do we help them in overcoming this battle? Is the question also really as the viewers out there. Well, I need your opinion on. I really want to share it with others. Although the youngsters had gone to promise to continue with the learning, they never enrolled as they spent 2 weeks learning also from home. And this is something we did see. And suffering also ensued. They say prompted them to walk from Kumi district to Kayunga district to confront their mother during the weekend in there. But really, this is something we did see happening, because really sometimes these children go through a lot. And they reached Kayunga on Sunday night, and they filed a case also with the probation officer of 2 days later. This is something we did see happening. And the children went to Kafirut to direct their stepfather away from their father's home, and also ordered their mother to cater for their education. 13-year-old boy said he has a dream of becoming a motor vehicle engineer, while his also young siblings want to join police. And this is why we are saying police must also really help them. So also really once those who are already serving officers, also really once they are retiring, such people actually who need also really to promote justice can be able to also really replace them. And that is why we are saying police must also really come out to help these children. And then the engineers out there, the more so the motor vehicle engineers also really should give a lifting hand to these children who are really going through a lot, and that will also really help them in also really attaining their dreams, because these people have good dreams. And today also really that is why we are saying they must be supported. And really I feel if at all a lifting hand is given to them, definitely they may also really be able to also really realize their dreams in there. According to Awinjo, local authorities have previously foiled attempts by Nabutono to sell off the 15-acre piece of land that's at shilling 60 million in there. When contacted, Nabutono claimed that the children had rebelled against her and dropped out of school, and that's something we did see happening in there on Monday. Kafero said he was going to work with the area leaders to ensure that the children get justice in there, and that's something also I really feel needs also to be also cared for in there. Kafero vowed that Nabutono and her new husband to face the law, and this is why I want to solely say must be ensured that this must be done as promised, because at times this also really happens, but really nothing more of that caliber is done. And that is why sometimes the children go through a lot, and we are saying this must not be the case, and this should also really be where the children also really need to be helped. And because if they're not helped, and then definitely this may be subjected to total suffering, because we are saying these children today are going through a lot, and that is why we need to support them. And in case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. Feel free to share your opinions on what we are discussing. That is already where we need your opinions on. And really, to move away from that now, let's talk something about census. The question also really you should be asking yourself is that, have you been enumerated? If not, what have you done? And who do you blame? And what are you planning to do? Because we are saying everybody must be counted. This was already where we did say in the slogan, it matters to be counted. But sometimes, and some people haven't been also counted up to now, and this has already been due to the maybe the negligence, and maybe due to the mess that was witnessed with the exercise. And now Uganda Bureau of Statistics is also already considering extending the deadline for another time. And this is something also we are seeing on the past morning. And the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has said it is considering extending the national population housing census exercise following complaints that a large number of the population was not enumerated. And that is why we are saying, are you part of the group that has been enumerated? And then if you're not enumerated, what are you going to do? Because we need to also have our data captured, because it's having it being said that it matters to be counted, then definitely each and everybody and every household also deserves to be counted. And speaking also to the media at UBOS headquarters in Kampala yesterday, UBOS Executive Director Chris Mukiza said that by the end of the census exercise on May 26th, the overall enumeration also coverage was at 99%, and the Bureau also had a target that's of 10.47 million households to cover. That's the 24 housing census in there. But really, Mukiza also really to be the remaining 1%, that is also to that is to failure to access the premises, working also single-handedly, also single households members. Hence, nobody is left home, and that's also something we did see, and as well as those who refuse to be counted, and that's also where it is contributing the 1%. However, Dr. Mukiza was not specific on the new deadline, and also he said the Bureau will be by Friday will be reviewed. Also, that's to have all the complaints also filed, also to be reviewed, and this is to determine the period of extension in there. And this is something also I want to say now for the very last time. Those who have not been enumerated should also take advantage of that. Then definitely we may at the end of the day also have each and everybody's data captured. And this is something I really want to say should be done so, because if at all you're not going to be enumerated, and then definitely the resources that you are likely to use in the next 10 years may not be yours. And that is why if at all you move, that is to maybe these different service providers, at the end of the day, if you do not maybe get the different services that you need, then definitely you shouldn't complain, because you're not enumerated and the government did not budget for you. And that is why we are saying people must also really ensure that their data is captured. This is also to help the government plan, that is for the different services in there. For instance, also in health, and not forgetting other aspects which are also for government in there. And that is why we are saying each and everybody must ensure that that data is captured. And he explained that most of the affected population is in Kampala, and that the Bureau will send its staff to enumerate the affected persons, since also the higher enumerators concluded their work. And that is why we are saying also people must also ensure that they take advantage of. And this shouldn't also be in Kampala, because up to now we are having a section of people who are in Arua City and who still claim that they have not been enumerated. And what exactly is government going to do or to also help these people is the question also we are asking ourselves this morning. And early extension, this will be the second time UBOS is extending the national population deadline, and this is already where we did see originally the exercise was meant, that is to run from 10th to 19th. That was for a period of 10 days, but we did see an extension of 6 more added days, which already elapsed. However, also the deadline was extended for 6 days, which was also really something we did see running up to May 26th, following complaints also that some areas did not also really start the initial date due to technical challenges we did witness on the first day. And we also really did see a lot of issues. And recently in Arua City, we did see a number of disgruntled enumerators storming, that's the mayor's gardens, demanding also the explanations, that is from the Arua City census authorities, on how also the gadgets have been retrieved from them, because they were not excited really to do the way. And these gadgets were also handed back, because for them, they also say that these gadgets, when they were giving them to them, they were also handed over to them in a broad day, and which was an exercise which was a bit transparent. But really, how they were also really asked to hand over the gadgets, that is through also the supervisors and the LC ones, wasn't really enough for them, and that is why they expressed dismay and they demanded for answers on why this was done so. And this is something also we did see happening at the beginning of this year. But really, we continue to follow that, and really, I will be able to solely inform you that these issues continue to emerge. But really, how do we help and also control the issues related to what we call the national population and census exercise? Because we did see this exercise starting in a way, really, I should also say wasn't well, but we did see at the end of the day people coping up with what exactly was happening. And this is why we are saying, have you been enumerated? And that is why we are saying this is why we're saying this is because the body that is mandated to undertake this exercise, that's also known as UBOS, which is also in full known as Uganda Bureau of Statistics is considering extending this deadline for yet another time. But really, this is also to help cater for the 1% who were not eliminated. Are you part of the 1%? Is the question also you should be asking yourself this early morning, because we want to see each and everybody be counted. Because if you're not counted, then definitely the resources that you are going to be using for the next 10 years may not be yours. And that is why we are saying each and everybody out there must also really ensure that data is captured, so that really nobody is left out in there. Dr. Mukiza explained that according to the UN recommendations, that is for conducting a population census exercise, fieldwork shouldn't go beyond 30 days. And he said the Bureau will not violate the recommendation. According to UBOS, by May 26th, the data collected indicates that there is a significant also really increase in the number of households and decrease in the household size. In that's something we did see happening. And he said also really the Bureau is committed to the census roadmap and will release what we call the preliminary results for the exercise on that 24th of June this year. And that's why we did see also that happening. And provisional results also really on September 24th, and final report will be out by December 24th. And that is something also really where we are yet following up on that. But really we want to see also really each and everybody be counted in there, because we want to see each and everybody's data be captured, because today I do understand that also really the number of households is said to be increasing, and then there is an increase maybe in the size of also really the number of families. And that is where maybe the campaigns first of all on again that's against family planning also really could be working out in there, because we have often told people that also really you need to keep a sizable number of people in your homes, in that also really you can be able to plan for them. And this is why we are saying maybe that reduction in the size of families could be coming in, but we are also witnessing an increase in the number of households. That means also really so many people could be engaging in marriages, and that is why maybe the issues of polygamy could be resulting from. But really I don't know why that is happening. We shall also really be keeping you updated in relation to that issue of the National Population and Housing Census, which is also really something we didn't see this year. And it will be returning after 10 years, because last time Uganda had this exercise was in 2014, and that means also the next exercise will be coming, that is after 10 years. And if you calculate 10 years from now, that will be possible in 2034. But really the question also really we should be asking ourselves is this morning, that are we going to be alive by that time? And the question is maybe the answer is quite simple. You must make sure that also really you live your life responsibly, and you must always pray so that also really by that time you are alive. And that brings us through the end of the first half of the first hour. This is still the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV, and my name is Farish Majid. Stay tuned as we bounce back shortly with more topics also in the show. Stay tuned.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
For Miss Uganda 2024 is on. Get ready to be wowed by the girls' intelligence, charisma, and big dreams. Who will be the next Miss Uganda? Find out starting 10th May every Friday to Sunday at 8 p.m. on Makulachika, exclusively on Star Times. For more details on how to join the competition, visit www.missuganda.co.ug or visit Star Times branches. The show is sponsored by VNA, LMZ, Comfort, Nanjing Hotel, Kira Motors, Sheraton Hilton, Uganda Airlines, and lead sponsors, Grace Textiles and U-Home. Miss Uganda 2024, True Ugandan Beauty.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial breather. We are back to also really keep you updated of what is happening in and around the world, because surely as the KOKOLIRIKO Live show, our number one mandate remains to keep you updated, and that is quite simple, where you need to also always keep locked. That is from each and every Mondays to Fridays, right from the hour of 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock, and today it being a Wednesday, we are here solely in the middle of the week, and that is also where you should be asking yourself, as the weekend is coming closer, how prepared are you for the weekend, and maybe how prepared are you for the end of the month? Usually also this comes with pressure, and that is also maybe to the tenants, maybe who are renting, and each and everybody out there, because at this time I do understand that also there's pressure mounting on the parents also in relation to the school fees, and guardians also as well have the pressure, but really nonetheless we are saying that is being a human being, and that is how also it feels to be an adult, because as an adult, if you're not going to be able to take care of your families, it couldn't also be easy for you. And now let's also start the discussions into also the second half of the first hour, right from also at Parliament in there, where we did see Parliament also, where we did see Minister Namuganza saying she has lost value, also Parliament has lost value over corruption in there. We did see that happening, and State Minister for Housing, that is Persis Namuganza, on Tuesday say that she was concerned about also really the image of the 11th Parliament, also really which has been tainted by the widespread also really of allegations of corruption. We did see that happening, and according to Minister Namuganza, also known as the legislator who represents that Bukono County in Namutumba district in eastern Uganda, also really said the 11th Parliament under the leadership of Bukede woman MP Anita Mong has lost its value because of corruption, and that's something we did see happening in there. And this is something also I feel we need to also talk about, because if at all maybe people who are losing, maybe people who are in there losing trust maybe in this process, maybe also what does that mean, and what exactly does that tell us of our Parliament? Because if somebody who is part of that maybe house is the one complaining, what exactly is happening? These are things we need to understand. Minister Namuganza is the first minister to sign the motion, so we did see also signing the motion that is to censor the group who alleged of also swindling money worth 1 point something billion in there. And this is also something we did see her, and we also did see her penning her signature on, because today right now we are seeing some people running campaign that is to also really receive signatures, that is to also that is impeach this group, and that is something also we did see happening, but really I don't know what that means. And the commissioners also who are also really being targeted in this sense motion include that's Matthias Impuga, that's of Nyendo Mkungwe, who also allocated to himself that is shillings 150 million, as of Esther Foyochan of Zombo district, also who also received that's 400 million in the Solomon Sirwanyi of Bukoli County, and also the Prosi Mbabaza Kampuriro of Rubanda, who is also among the group who each bag that is shillings 400 million in there. But really, how do we also really address this matter? Because this matter to me has really been there, but really how do we now also really keep this matter out of public space? Because we have also been often following this issue, and in 2023 also we did see a total of that is 348 MPs voted also really to have the minister censored, 5 MPs voted with no, 3 also with 3 absenteeisms also in there. But these are things also we did see this minister maybe also feeling disgruntled about, because she was also at one time being censored, and this was after 11th Parliament found Ms. Namuganza guilty of violating of her oath, and also that the conduct satisfied the grounds in Article 118 of the Constitution. Is it a form of revenge? These are also some things that we are asking, because at one time we did see her being censored, and according to her, there was a referendum about Parliament, and Ugandans would also vote to abolish the legislative body, and has become also a shame and embarrassment to all the citizens, and that's something we did see happening in there. But really, how do we also help this matter out? And she revealed that some MPs had started claiming also that the parliamentary leadership had contacted also them, saying President Museveni had advised them against signing the motion in there. This is something we did see, and earlier in the day, following complaints also really that the opposition MPs had shied away also from signing the censor motion. The leader of opposition in Parliament, that is Honorable Joel Sonyonyi, also led a section of his team also to sign the motion, and also described the exercise as a violation, as a vindication of, that's for the National Unity Platform Party, that was earlier also accused of veiling also his predecessor, that's Mr. Mpuga in there. That's something this is happening, but really, what does this mean of the Parliament? These are questions already we should be asking ourselves early morning, because if at all a parliamentarian who is also in the House is complaining about the whole body, what exactly is mean? It may be happening in there. And these are also really things that we need to understand as we get to move on with the show. But really, this is already where you can be able to share your opinions on, maybe in terms of already what you feel exactly could be happening in there. As we get to move on with the show, now let's leave that aside, looking at what is happening at the Uganda Muslim Spring Council. Well, now we are seeing lawyers protesting as a principal judge recalls that is Uganda Muslim Spring Council leadership profile for the second time. Also, we are seeing that also this is something we are seeing on the past morning. But really, how do we also keep this matter is also something we are seeing, and really we feel it needs to be done. And Jinja High Court Judge Farida Shamira also Bukirwa, who has been kicked off as a case in which Uganda Muslim Spring Council is challenging the election that's of Sheikh Abdallah Semambo as the Mufti also really to replace, that is the embattled His Eminency Sheikh Saban Ramadan Mubaje in there. And on May 15th, 2024, we did see Justice Bukirwa, who has been also hearing the case, gave the case, that is the two parties, between May 22nd and May 29th, to the file and written also the submissions, also as she also prepares to give her judgment on the notice in there. But a day later, Principal Judge Justice Flavia Zenja recalled also the file for the second time and allocated to another judge in there. And this is something where we are also really seeking opinions on, and really this matter has been there. And we did see Mr. Abdulatif Muhammad Kayanja, the public relations officer, that's of the anti-Mubaje faction, said the file has since been also allocated to Justice Singiza Douglas Karebwa, who is attached to the civil division of the High Court in there. But really, how do we also really say maybe help this matter, because we have seen this matter moving on, because ever since this year began, we have been talking about this role, and this matter also still continues to continue. And when shall justice maybe prevail, because we want to see maybe the right person take over that office, if at all. Also maybe that he or she is going to hold that rightly, we need to also really make it in open day, so that also each and everybody knows maybe who exactly was holding that office illegally, because we need to understand that also this matter has been in there, because we have seen people accusing each other here and there, but really the matter yet continues to also continue going on. And according to Mr. Kayanja, the challenges also came following a May 14th letter, that is Justice Zeija, in which Sheikh Mubaje complained about Justice Bukirwa, who was handling the file in there. But really, this is something also really I want to say needs to be done. And according to lawyers, that is also led by, we did see Mr. Arias Luimbazi Nalukola, one of the lawyers also really representing the anti-Mubaje faction, said Sheikh Mubaje is not a party also, and wondered how he complained about the presiding judge in there. That's something that is happening, but we really feel this matter must be addressed timely. And he said Justice Singiza has no jurisdiction also to handle the case, and is in his insistence to entertain it will be detrimental. That is to the independence of the judiciary, something we did see happening in there. Meanwhile, we did see also Mr. Isaac Ugonza, a lawyer representing that's the pro-Mubaje faction, said the principal judge acted with his powers as head of also the High Court following a complaint by one of the parties also really happening in there. But really, how do we also keep this matter out is the question also really we are asking ourselves this morning. Now let's now move on with the show, as we also have to continue following up, and we shall be able to keep you updated on that matter till the first maybe the last drop, because we have to also really keep you updated of what exactly is happening. And now let's look at what is happening. And remember, today we are having so many Christians as the day that is to June 3rd nears. That means also really the Martyrs Day is just around the corner. Today is the 29th, and I don't know how many days that is to the Martyrs Day, because the Martyrs Day is actually at the beginning of June, around that is June 3rd, and that is also really to help also really recall and honor those who are killed as the martyrs, also really by the orders of the then King of Buganda, that is Kabaka Mwanga in there. But really, how do we also keep this matter really going on? Because today we have so many people.
The 531 foot.
This history in there. Today we are also having a number of people trekking up to Namugongo so shrine in there, and this is also really where we are seeing a number coming from Nebi, and this is really something we are following up on, and this is really something you can see, because if you can really see on your screens, you can be able to really see how those people are moving, and this is really numbers and how they exactly also moving on. And we are privileged as West Nile TV also to be joined and also by one of our colleagues who is with the team, that is Alfred Jawok Dorombe, who is also on the way, that is with the team up to Namugongo, and we also receiving information now they are about to reach, and now they have also been called upon now, that is also really also be loyal as they celebrate the Martyrs Day. And that is why we are saying each and every Christian must be loyal as they celebrate also this day here and in there, because we are now also being seeing that these people have covered, that's about 458-kilometer journey, that is Namugongo Shrine in there, and they actually entered 12 days of their journey, and they are just about to reach. And that is why we are saying people must always ensure that they also really be part of this journey, because we have also seen how people are moving, and it's quite interesting. And as Christians out there, I want to implore you to also be part of that, so that sorry nobody is left out, because we want to make sure that each and everybody who is moving is safe. And really, we also receive information that nothing bad has yet happened to them, and later on we are going to be joined by Alfred Jawok on call, who will be telling us how exactly the journey is and where exactly they have reached. And that is why we are saying also really they must also really ensure that they actually reach safely, and that is why we need to also really maybe get that to Alfred Jawok to also really tell us how exactly their journey is. And really, I feel that is also why we need to also really have that, because Christians out there need to also really embrace this, because really I have been impressed by people with disabilities who are leading the team on their wheelchairs, and that is why also we need to get connected to Alfred Jawok. Alfred, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alfred.
Good morning, West Nile. Good morning, all our viewers. Good morning, all the pilgrims.
Yes. How far with the
Yes.
journey? How far with the journey, and how is the journey so far?
I want to. We reached safely. We reached St. Jude Catholic Parish. We are in the parish here with all the pilgrims. 538. The number increased. Others started joining on the road. That's why from 500 something, excuse me, we are 538 now.
Okay. How is the journey? How is the health of the people? How healthy are they?
No, everyone is healthy, and we want to refute the claims on social media that one of us died. That's a total lie. We never registered any incident. All of us reached here safely, and no one is sick, no one is admitted. We are fine and we are healthy.
Okay.
We are just preparing now to start our journey from St. Jude Naguru to Namugongo.
Okay.
Yesterday when we came here, we were welcomed by our leaders from Greater Nebi, the political leaders, the security team. We are so proud of them because they accorded us the security we deserve.
Okay.
Yes.
Just like any other journey, I believe there are challenges that you could be encountering. Maybe what are some of the challenges that people are encountering on the journey?
Indeed, challenges are part of life, and we didn't register any, maybe many challenges. However, when we were on the way, we only experienced challenges of busy errand drivers. They were not respecting the pilgrims, but with the help of the security personnel, the traffic police, they were on ground guiding us till we reached Kampala.
Okay.
When we reached Bombo, the situation was different from where we started, because here we found the security was heavily deployed. So we didn't register any challenges as far as traffic flow is concerned.
Okay. Maybe finally I want to understand how the women are doing, and if possible, I really want to speak to one of the women who are taking part in this exercise.
The women are very fine, and they can share their experiences throughout the journey. And so far, Mrs. as the number of women are more than men.
Okay.
I don't know why, because in every situation when it comes to God's time, women are always number one. Women are always in forefront. And also, I'm trying to look for a woman who have been trekking all the way from Nebi up to here. And so far, so good. You may talk to her. She tells you how the journey was. I don't know whether you can speak to her in local language, but I'm trying my best to get at least someone who can speak in English so
Okay,
that
what-
you understand it.
Okay, what we want you to do is actually talk to her directly, and you tell her that she's live on West Nile TV.
Okay, this is Mama Ashipu Gashela. It's 2 years, and she's the oldest pilgrim here. Mama Aine Nedi, the West Nile TV, the Aine Nedi. The Ola Nedi.
Aolungo, nyesera wingu, enta olungo.
In Yinga ai Kokane, you want me I can.
Nyinga Garciela ati. Ai, Paris ni pakwasi.
It's here already.
Ati orpira bola yare.
What when in any response money maybe. In the what my poor man.
Eni ya pengina amari yesu.
Okay, Faris Majid, that
Yes.
is the woman, that is the oldest pilgrim within here.
Okay.
And we also have many women who have joined this cause all the way from Nepi up to here. And when we reached here, I think women were the first priority among all the men.
Okay.
And also I have one woman here, Ningina Tiashel Nikin, Danmut Namugungi, West Nile TV. Ningina, the eye for Kani, the eye for the young. You want to men and after what in your Kango, Milan, you would men. Naka water, but I want any. And one water there, little go to be Nadia, Massive to see TV. That is the idea, it would be no one. Don't be water now. If you know, see TV, might water there. The lamp is in the matter. Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Faris
all
Majid.
right, thank you, Alfred.
So, before I go offline, I know from here, the Archbishop-elect, the Bishop of Nepti Catholic Diocese, will be here to lead the team from Nakuru, St. Jude, up to Namugongo. That is the final place. And also, we shall also have our leaders to be in front, like yesterday. When we came here, they received us, they welcomed us with a good reception. We ate well. Indeed, we had the first of its kind welcome in Kampala. And above all, I want to assure all our listeners, all our viewers, that we shall keep them posted
All right.
on every activity happening here. Thank
Okay.
you so much. I want to say thank you, West Nile TV. We are very safe, and we are here lighting up the region West Nile. And also I want to say thank you, Madam Daisy, and thank you, that is Maria, where she is now. I know even the news team, I want to thank you so much.
All right, Alfred Jawak, we shall be getting back to you, and I want to say Afoyo Matek Omira, and we shall be getting back to him later on. And as we get to continue with the show, remember we are just left with about 9 minutes. That is to wind up the first hour of the show, and this is still a KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV that is also really lively on. That is on your screens. For those of you watching us via StarTimes, we are on channel 477 and also really online across all our social media platforms. And that is also maybe as something also really a brief update on that is also really the journey that is Namugongo Catholic Shrine. In that, that's why we are saying also really this year the diocese is actually privileged, that is to animate this year's celebration, and that is why we are going to be following up with the team until the last drop. And as West Nile TV, our #1 mandate remains to keep you updated and informed of what is happening in and around the world, and also really that is how we are doing it with you. And remember, we shall be able to slowly get back to Alfred in case there's any development that is in relation to the journey in there, and that is why we also now I want to urge that is the road users also in Arua City to embrace what we call safety measures. And remember, the period we are getting into is actually where we have been witnessing a number of accident cases, and now police urges road users in Arua City to embrace what we call the safety measures in there. And that is one thing I also want to also encourage and implore each and everybody to also ensure that they be part of, because if at all you are not also going to be taking part in that, then definitely you may also be the one who is going to risk another person's life in danger. And now Arua City Police Station is urging road users in the city and the district also to also respect the road use the road signs and also the other aspects which are also in place. And today we have seen also police coming out to also claim and also sensitize the locals, because we have seen a rise in the cases of accident. I'm really waiting for this year's report that will be coming from police, because last year we did witness an increase in the cases of accidents, but really I want to also say that this year hasn't been well in terms of accidents, because each and every day we are talking about an accident. And remember, recently in Lango we did also lose, that is also one prominent and one of the police, that is a town clerks who also died in an accident in there. And we did also see the players of Lango province solely being involved in an accident in there. But really we continue to say each and everybody who is on these roads must always pray, because our roads maybe have become death traps, because we are losing each and every day people dying to these road crashes. But what exactly is happening? And this is only where we are saying one of the factors that has been identified as a cause to these accidents is the issue of overspeeding. And we are saying each and everybody must always ensure they do not overspeed, so that they do not also endanger their lives in there. But really, how do we also make that possible? And this is quite simple, by respecting what the police is saying. And remember, today police is actually urging road users to embrace the safety measures. And the safety measures is not only for the people who are maybe in vehicles or in motorcycles, but really whoever is carried on these motorbikes also should also respect the issued guidelines. And that's why we are saying, as we are returning back in the period of school, today we have had several campaigns, because I was honored to actually attend one of the campaigns that is also the trainings on these campaigns, which is Twedeko at the Raw Primary School, where the pupils were also advised to wear helmets. And that is why we are saying parents must purchase these helmets, because maybe in case of any accidents where their children have been moving on these borders, they could also have chances of survival in there. That is why we are saying people must always ensure that they wear helmets and they also respect the other road use maybe signs. And that is why if your motorcycle is not in good shape, you must always, as the border rider, make sure that it is in good shape. You must take it for repair, so that already you do not endanger your life in there. And that is one thing also I want to keep you reminded on, and avoiding issues of overspeeding, as I earlier mentioned. These are things we need to also respect, because if at all we do not respect that, then that could also lead us into accidents, which could then also claim our lives or leave us also disabled in there. Because we did witness an accident that happened along Madiokolo, where a trailer also knocked 2 people in there, and really, which is also something we did see happening. And remember, so many of these accidents cases we also reported at the beginning of the year and over the weekend in there. But really what we are saying is people must always ensure that they do not also endanger the lives of others, and that is why we are saying that shouldn't be the case as we get to move on with the show. And remember, so many of these issues going to happen, and really we are also saying now we need to also talk about that. And we did see that happening, and I really want to say also really we need to talk about that. And moving on, we did see traders calling for conducive environment in and around also Upper Land in there. Really, what exactly is happening in the Upper area in there? Because we have often seen issues coming out from that area, where issues of insecurity have always been talked about. When you talk about Upper, as somebody's mind could just briefly run that is to the conflict. But really, how do we make sure these conflicts are eradicated out of that area? Because if you really see what's happening in the Upper, which is also really an area bordering the Madi and the Choli sub-regions in there, you have realized that a lot of issues have happened in there, because we have seen fights which have also been alleged, that is between the Acholi of Amuru and also the Madi of Ajuman in there. But really, how do we make sure this matter is resolved faster? And we have seen that happening, and now traders in that area area, calling for conducive environment in that area in there. But really, how do we also really make sure that trade booms in there? Because that area is actually is one of the rich areas. We have also been told that it's actually one area that is bordering South Sudan, and that means that there are a lot of opportunities in there. And really, it's already bordering West Nile actually. But really, how do we make this area be of good importance for all of us? Because for trade to be in there, we are going to realize a lot of advantages. First of all, so many people are going to be employed in there, and then secondly, government is also already going to obtain revenue from that area. First of all, through these people who have established their business, and now we are seeing the traders operating also really in and around the conflicting area. That's also Vamuru are calling for also really that's the restoration of peace, also to enable them to do their businesses in there. But really, how do we make sure that happens? Because most of the times we have been seeing fights also really happening in that area, but really nothing more of that activity also has been happening. And that is why we are saying that area also really must be the one that should also really have peace, because if there's no peace, then definitely at the end of the day we are going to be witnessing a lot of these activities continuing to happen. And once these activities continue to happen, then that means also really nothing of that activity should also really happen. And that is why we are saying people must also desist from these tendencies, because if at all they're not also really respecting also the security guidelines, and then definitely we may also see a lot of these activities continue to happen. And now let's leave that aside, moving to Lango, where we did see the Lango City also losing their town clerk, and this man has been identified as a polished professional, a town clerk who got killed in a car crash in there. But really, what exactly happened to this man? That is something also we didn't understand, because we did see the wreckage where he was actually retrieved from when he had already passed on. And the professional administrator and police seasoned government servant are some of the words also used by mourners to describe the character of the deceased also town clerk. Because yesterday we did see a special council sitting in Lira City that is also the owner, that is Theophilus Tibihika, a 53-year-old who was killed in a car crash that's in Akala sub-county, Akole district, northern Uganda, in the wee hours of Monday morning. And his body was on Monday found trapped in the wreckage of the double cabin pickup registration number, that's UM450V, which was already said to be driving, which was said to be driving at the time of his death in there. And that's something we did see happening. And we also really have to continue mourning with the people of Lango sub-region, because Lango is still part of northern Uganda. These are our brothers and sisters, and that is why if something of that caliber happens to them, we also really feel concerned. And that's why we are saying, may God also really give also courage and also strength to the people of Lango. And then secondly, also may God heal the family of this gentleman who has been also really making changes, that's in Lira City, through also really his experience where he had served in several districts really. And we also did receive information from his wife that he had loved also really Lira, and this is also in different places he had served. He actually loved Lango City as one of the areas that he treasured. And his body was on Monday found trapped in the wreckage, and we did see also that happening. And it's suspected that Tibihika around 2 a.m. on Monday lost control of the vehicle and veered off the road before it overturned also really several times. And police in Kola district are yet to establish also really the detailed report of the investigations into the car crash, and that is something also really we are yet following up. Tibihika was appointed last year as the substantive Lira town clerk, and he took over that from Emmanuel Wamburu, who was acting before he was transferred to the neighboring Kole district, where he currently works as the chief administrative officer. And Ms. Lillian Grace Ochare, the deputy town clerk of Tuesday, said her boss was received in Lira City by the political and technical leadership of Kasese municipality in 2023, a testimony of the good work he had done in Kasese, and that is why we are going to be mourning him. And that is one thing also I want to implore each and everybody out there who is in these offices, more so the town clerks in these cities, and then the chief administrative officer in the districts also, to also really maybe emulate his character, so that already once they're gone, they may also be remembered in the way this gentleman has been remembered. And that brings us to the end of the first hour. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV. We are going to be running for a short commercial breather, and when we bounce back, we shall be able to continue with the rest of the topics. My name is Salish Majid. Stay tuned to the stations.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
for Miss Uganda 2024 is on. Get ready to be wowed by the girls' intelligence, charisma, and big dreams. Who will be the next Miss Uganda? Find out starting 10th May every Friday to Sunday at 8 p.m. on Makulachika, exclusively on Star Times. For more details on how to join the competition, visit www.missuganda.co.ug or visit Star Times branches. The show is sponsored by VNA, LMZ, Comform, Nanjing Hotel, Kira Motors, Sheraton, Uganda Airlines, and lead sponsors Grass Textiles and U-Home. Miss Uganda 2024, true Ugandan beauty.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are back for the second hour, which is also our last hour of the show. And we are saying, in case you're just joining us right now, you're welcome aboard, and we are going to be doing this with you up the hour of 9 o'clock. And my name is Farish Majid. It's a great pleasure having you on board this Wednesday morning. And we are saying this is actually where you can be able to get information of what is happening in the country and outside the country. And this is where we are saying you must always be part of that. People maybe watch us each and every mornings, because you are going to be having information. And remember, a person who is informed is actually one that is going to be making informed decisions. And once you make informed decisions, then definitely you are a complete person. And that is why we are here to do that quite simply for you. And we are back into the second hour, just 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. And we are going to be also doing that with you up the hour of 9 o'clock. And remember, earlier on, we did talk about a lot of issues. And now, to begin off the second hour with, let's now move to Queen, where we have also been told that money that was meant for Emyoga has been embezzled in, and that's quite unfortunate. And remember, this is already where we can talk about, because we can talk about that, because definitely if at all government money is embezzled like that, then definitely there's more that we need to do. And we also receive information now where over 150 million of Emyoga funds have been embezzled. That's in the Queen district, and that's something also we need to talk about, because really, if at all this money just goes like that, who exactly is supposed to be responsible for that? These are things already we are yet to also talk about in the second hour. And rampant corruption among civil servants also in Queen district in Sabei sub-region is failing the implementation of the Emyoga projects. That's already information we have also received from that area there. And the leaders of the different circle groups and credit also cooperative organizations in the district say they're withdrawing in the money also from the bank. Part of this is taken by civil servants as an appreciation token. But really, is this money meant to also appreciate the leaders? Definitely is the question we are also asking ourselves, because most of the times we have seen people also raising questions, also concerns in relation to this money, not only with the Emyoga funds. We have also seen information also in relation to this coming out, or that is during the PDM implementation. But really, who exactly these leaders are accountable to is the question we need to ask, because the government of Uganda is already giving this money to help, that is the poor. But really, as a civil servant, as somebody who is not vulnerable, you are maybe taking a little from this people. Really, what exactly is your problem? And that is why we also need to hold these leaders accountable. And that is why, as the community members, if you see these people just maybe engaging in these activities, inform the media, inform also each and every stakeholder, so that these people can be able to get arrested, so that we would not have this corruption going on. And we did see how Nanduja, the chairperson of Queen Performing Artists, alleged that the district commercial officer, that is Sylvester also Toxin Bomet, is one of the people at the forefront of extorting money from circles, frustrating also the implementation of the program in there. But really, who exactly are these people working for is the question that we need to ask ourselves early morning, because most of the times we have seen people also coming up up with complaints of such caliber. Earlier in 2022, police in Kwen district also arrested Toxin amid allegations of misappropriating, that is shillings 30 million also of a Myoga money. At the end of his arrest, he was found hiding in his banana plantation, according to police also in there. And CP Regional Police spokesperson Fred Mark Chesang told Monitor that the suspect appeared in Kapchora Magistrate Court, where he was charged with theft and causing financial loss of shillings 30 million in there. But on Monday, Kwen Kao Albina Award decried corruption as a deception, that is to a Myoga in the district. But really asked the Kao, what exactly are you doing to also have your junior officers accountable? Because we also do understand that as the chief administrative officer, you are also the financial manager in there. But really how do we make sure those who are below you are accountable to the masses is the question we need to ask ourselves this morning. And Toxin reportedly shunned the meeting, even as the Kao asked him to present bank statements about the expenditure. And this is where we are saying, and these commercial officers sometimes do not also have money, do not have exactly right information. That's why we are saying these people who are holding these offices must be the people who are rightfully also qualified, and that is only where people, before being employed, maybe in this public service, we must check their behavior. So that's only we do not employ people who are corrupt, because corruption has killed a lot of government projects there, and that is why we are saying these activities should not be ruined by individuals who are of ill intentions. Maybe first of all who are engaged in corruption activities, but really how do we make this also possible is the question so we need to ask ourselves early morning. And when also asked Toxin on phone why he did not attend the meeting, he said he was sick, and that is why he shunned the meeting. But really, how do you shun a meeting really where you are also asked maybe to attend? And he also denied the allegation that he had misappropriated the Myoga funds, and he said other people were responsible for the misappropriation, but declined to also mention who exactly these people are. And that is why we are saying this: he must also be arrested, so that he can't be able to solely mention those people who are behind the misappropriation of 30 million, because 30 million is really quite a lot of money. And if you really maybe give this 30 million to 30 people who are really people who are serious, who need this money, and then definitely we may also realize that people's livelihoods are going to be maybe improved. And that's why we also have to make sure these people also who are behind the misappropriation of this money must also be brought to book in that. When asked about the 12 million assigned from one of the groups belonging to fish farmers in March 2022, he said he was entitled also as a member of the SACCO, and that's something we did see happening in there. And there are about 36 groups in Kwen that we are registered to also receive 30 million also each, and other leaders circles that we are supposed to receive, that is 50 million. And some of the group also alleged that they have not received any money, although we did see that group also, the district also receiving that is 1.8 billion for the Myoga program in there. But really, what exactly is happening? We did see Charles M. Chemtai, a stakeholder, said the government projects in the district also really are being revealed by ghost groups, yet government is doing nothing to eliminate the corruption, and that's something also is happening. And recently, a group of also anti-corruption monitors in Kwen district asked Inspector General of Government, that is Betty Olive Kamia, also to reach out to them to allocate time and conduct a public also the accountability meeting in Kwen district. Meanwhile, Kao Awar also said some of the people who borrowed the money have failed to pay back, who are now failing the project in there. And we did see that happening. We also did see communication from also Kao Awar, who also did say that. And Kwen Resident District Commissioner, that's Hopper Tuere, assured the community that all the implicated also the officers will face the law, and that's something also we are following up on. And on her part, Namuenge also observed that the performance of the Myoga also the program is poor because of interference and mismanagement of civil servants who are supposed to solely oversee the running of the process in there. Namuenge said about 150 million from Myoga also the SACCOs has been embezzled in the district, and that is why we are saying if the money has been embezzled, what about those who embezzled the money? What is being done to them? These are questions we need to ask ourselves this morning as we also get to move on with the show. As the viewer, you can also share your opinions on what exactly needs to be done to these people in here. And that also summarizes the topic as we get to move on with the topics also moving on. And now let's look at what is happening in health as Dr. Chen also urges world to raise commitment that is to prepare also that's pandemic preparedness, and that's something also we are seeing on the past morning. And Health Minister Jen Ruth Acheng has emphasized the significance of the proposed pandemic treaty in fostering global health security in there. And the member of countries kicked off also of the World Health Organization's annual assembly in Geneva, Switzerland on Monday with hopes of improving, that's what we call global readiness, that's for deadly outbreaks in COVID-19 after an ambitious pandemic treaty ran that's aground last week, and that's something we did see happening in there. And health officials are also really facing that challenge, and that's something where we did see that happening. But really what exactly needs to be done, that's something we did see also the Health Minister Jen Ruth Acheng also really rallying the health officials also also that's to come to the rescue in there. That's where we are saying this commitment must also be fulfilled. And member countries, remember, we also did see that happening, and health officials are now racing to get the world, that is to agree what the ways also to prepare and fight inevitable future pandemics. And we did see the COVID-19 also already having its own challenges, where most of the world also we are caught unawares, and that means that most of them were not prepared, and that is where we did see challenges also happening in there. Dr. Chen highlighted the necessity of global cooperation in the face of unpredictable health crisis, which can swiftly also escalate into economic and geopolitical challenges in there. Dr. Chen underscored the limitations of the current data analytical and predictive technologies, noting that despite also the advancements predicting the onset of the next global health catastrophe remains a significant challenge. In that she warned that anticipated public also health emergencies have also really far-reaching impacts extending beyond the health sector, that is to the economies, and also disrupting that's the geopolitical stability in there. And that's something we did see also the Minister of Health also urging, and her remarks also resonated with the attendees, reflecting also a growing consensus on the need for a robust and actionable framework also to tackle future pandemics. In that Dr. Chen's appeal comes also at a time when the world is still grappling with the repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic, which had also its immense contributions to destabilizing all the countries in there. That's why we are saying we also need to also rally behind in this point, and also to have this also business ties, and also maybe also the world must be prepared for that. And that's why we are saying we also need to have the world commitment also to be prepared, to maybe fully be prepared in there. That's how maybe Uganda can't be able to solely have also that preparedness, because if at all we're not preparing for pandemics, and then definitely what we saw in the COVID-19 pandemic also could be able to happen in future. And that is something also we are saying we must also be prepared as well. And moving on from that now, let's talk something about Parliament. And earlier on we are talking about Minister Namuganza, who also talked about Parliament having no trust, that is to tackle corruption in there. Now we did see how also signing what we call the censure motion against Matthias Impuga and the co-accused, and that's something we did see happening in there. The Minister of State for Housing, Ms. Persis Namuganza, has appended the signature on the motion, seeking also to censor the 4 commissioners of Parliament, sounding also a warning to those who are also calling MPs that the President had directed them not to sign also the censor motion in that. That's something we need to see. And remember, we also earlier on informed you that Minister Namuganza at one time was also censored, and now we are also seeing her championing also the fight against corruption in that. Namuganza says that there are formal ways of the President's communication, and nobody should also use the name of the President to intimidate MPs not to sign the censor motion. That's something we did see happening in there. Mr. Namuganza, who was in January also 2023 censored for attacking the person of the Speaker, the integrity of the Speaker, without also due regard to the rules of procedure over the media comments, where she asked the cabinet ministers also stand strong and append their signatures on the motion. That's the commitment of fighting corruption in there. That's something that is happening, and the 4 MPs accused of allocating that is shillings 500 million and 400 million each also as service awards as monthly salary. Of that's 23 million on top of the emoluments as MPs without seeking Parliament's approval in there. And Minister Namuganza also said during her controversial censor, Sirani mobilized also Parliament and told people that he was very clean, and while Impuga also who was the leader of opposition emphasized integrity, and now this could be a form of revenge. Could it be? I don't know, but really as the viewer, you best have maybe the thought which you can be able to share with us, because this is something we did see happening. And the censor, somebody could be asking what exactly censor is, and I only want to say that the censor is a form of majority vote in the House on resolution disapproving a member's conduct, generally also with the additional requirement that the members stand also at the wall of the House chamber to receive a verbal rebuke and reading the resolution by the Speaker. And this is something we did see happening. And in the case of Mpuga, Sirwanyi and Pafoyechan and Kampurira, the censor would have them as lose their seats as the backbench commissioners and become also the formal indictment of the conduct, also abuse of office, and also where we did see that happening. And Sechkubo and Co need to also raise that is at least 177 signatures. That's to get the censor motion passed in there. And this is something we are following up on, and we shall be able to slowly keep you updated at the final maybe verdict of this matter. If at all this board is raised maybe the signatures, and we shall be able to slowly come here and keep you informed and what exactly maybe how that matter will be ending. And And really, I really want to ask you now, as the viewer, also to keep on following, and really we shall be able to keep you updated at the end of the day. And moving on, World Bank to initiate that Sharing 900 Women Entrepreneurs Project. And remember, we have been talking about the Grow Project, which has currently been on the run, and we are yet following up on that. And the World Bank is also really stepping in to facilitate what we call the women entrepreneurs, to help them advance their businesses. And really, that is something also we are yet following up on. According to the Private Sector Foundation, which is actually championing this initiative, $217 million US, which is about 900 billion under the 5-year Grow Project, will, among other things, also skill women in business before advancing their grants and credit also after screening in that. This is actually one thing I also want to implore women who are doing business today. We have had a lot of women who are doing business, and we have also already seen them also changing the livelihoods, not only of them, and also those around them. We have seen women today who are paying school fees, and that is why such business initiative, maybe our projects also need to target them. And really, we are saying now the Grow Project is actually one thing that's we need to also help these women also realize that dream on. And remember, these women, this money will also be going to women who are in refugee camps, and West Nile sub-region also has a number who are going to be benefiting from that, because the Grow Project definitely is actually the one that is targeting women who are in business. And that is why we are saying people who are doing this business must also really borrow this money. It's a revolving fund which is going to be going to them, and really we also want to see their business be uplifted. And maybe if somebody was in small scale business, we want to see them rise to medium scale, and really that would also be quite well. And that is why we are saying that should be the case. And each and every woman out there also they must be interested in this Grow Project. And private sector foundation unit, local governments, and post-secondary education institutions are among the other implementing agencies. And we also have one whom I can be able to also mention to you, which is Makerere University Business School, which has already been also conducted to draw training modules. That's for different categories of women also owning the business enterprise. And currently the ministry is also undertaking training of district labor officers and community development officers as focal persons also at the lower local governments. So that's something we are saying. And speaking at the training of the officers from Central Uganda on Friday, our State Minister for Gender and Culture, Peace Mutuzo, said the project would also really help women and also venture into what we call the currently male-dominated business sectors like tourism, manufacturing, also, and not forgetting processing in there. And that's why we are saying women who are doing business must get ready for these funds, such that also nobody is left out. And really, as a woman who is doing business, you need to also have your business registered. First of all, before you maybe start accessing this money, you must also make sure your business is actually registered. That is also with the different agencies, so that it's a non-formal business, other than also maybe wanting to borrow this money at the end of the day when you're not also having it formally registered in there. And this is partly the center of work that's for the focal local point persons, officers that also ensure that mindset change and challenge them to take the message that is to funeral and also the other places of gathering in there. That's something also where I want to summarize that discussion with, and we are saying those who are into this business also must now get ready for that. And moving on away from that, well, now let's also talk something about health, where government of Uganda is set to register also the nurses and midwives who are abusive, because we have also had a lot of challenges, more so by our women who go to these health facilities, more so during antenatal or during giving birth. We have been told that women also sometimes go through a lot that is in the hands of these doctors and nurses who are really very, very much harsh on them. And that is why we are saying now government of Uganda will register them, and they should also avoid these tendencies. And that is why we are saying there are plans by the government of Uganda to register any nurse or midwife are found guilty of mistreating patients. And the regulator of the professional body has said that, and we did see Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council says the move is aimed at also really improving service delivery in health facilities. And today we have also being told that women sometimes go through a lot. And according to him, accused health workers will be subject to disciplinary measures, which could lead them also to disregistration and revoking of their practicing license and found guilty of offences, including that's abusing persons in there. That's something I really feel is the way to go, because most of the times we have realized that women also go through a lot, and that is why sometimes people do not want to go to these health facilities to give birth, or maybe go for antenatal, because imagine going for antenatal alone, you are sent back to also go and bring your husband, and where maybe how the way also you have been communicated to is really quite brutal. And that is why we are saying this move that's by the Nurses Council and Midwives Council is really quite well, and we really welcome it, and we want to see it also be implemented very fast. And that's such that also women who have been also fearing to go to health facilities can now be able to get the courage and move these health facilities to also get this access, maybe this information in there. And as of April 2024, there were also 42,321 nurses registered and midwives in Uganda, and out of this 21,146 had obtained licenses, as also we did see 17,849 had renewed their licenses, and according to the data from that is also we did the body that brings together the Nurses and Midwives Council in the Nampere noted that the registration exercise ensures compliance with professional ethics. And Betty Awino Kelo, a retired midwife who worked at Lira Regional Referral Hospital for 35 years, said the online registration makes life easy and comfortable for health practitioners in there. And Lila Najok, a nurse working also with at Flama Clinic in Gulu City, said, I paid my registration fees also in March, but I could not get my license. And this is where we have also been told that sometimes it's quite difficult for people to also get these certificates, because after applying, you are required to also move, that is up in the National Council, which is in Kampala, along also around Makere, India. But really sometimes we find it difficult and really to also have this access to also maybe this document, and that's why we are saying this exercise must be made very easy. And this is after confirmation from Liliana Jok, who said, I paid my tuition fees in March, but I could not be able to get my certificate, and this made me to lose a number of job opportunities. But I'm now happy that today I managed to apply for the certificate online. And this is where we are saying people must also really embrace what we call digital transformation. And Judith Nanyonjo, a senior principal nursing officer that's the regional referral hospital, also said UNMC coordinator for Lango sub-region, also really explained that they are moving away from the analog this digital system to the digital system in, and that's why we are saying that must also really be ensured that Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council regulates the nurses and midwives also really who are doing their work in the country. And it was initially set up, that's 1922, and also really has passed through a series of legislation reflecting changes in the everlasting also really professional changes in there. And it is also it's at present that is by also the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council, which works under the Act that's of 1996, and in 2022 we did see UNMC celebrated 100 years of registered nurses and midwives in the profession. But really, what do you think about this move that is to also really have the abusive and nurses and midwives registered? Because sometimes we have been told these nurses, even Richard extent, not only abusing but also really harassing through brutal means by slapping the women, and this is where we have seen the mothers complaining very much. But really, what do you think about that? That is also something where I need your opinion on. As the viewer this morning, you could also really be able to share your ideas, share your opinions on what exactly is happening and what you think also needs to be done, because sometimes we have had our nurses, these are our mothers, our sisters who got these facilities as maybe professional, but we have seen them changing, and from also really being humble people, we have seen them becoming arrogant to the extent of also beating the patients. And that is why we are saying, how best can we make sure this practice of dehumanizing the mothers is also addressed? Because we have seen that also really happening quite often, where we have seen so many allegations coming up, that is from the medical facilities. But really, how do we make sure that matter does not continue? That is maybe to go on is also really where I need your opinions as we get to move on with the show. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show. You're just joining us right now. We are already, that is already getting finalized with the show, and that is where we are just remaining with about some few minutes. That is to get done with today's edition. But really, as we get to move on with the show, now let's look at something happening that is into crime, where police is to reactivate crack unit, that is to fight also criminals in there. That's something we did see also being registered on this at the beginning of this week, where we did see the police have also reactivated its special purpose task force, a crack team of sorts that's to fight rising crime in the capital. And this is something we did see happening in there. The spokesperson Fred Enanga said the decision followed also the emergency of new gang whose members trail also and also strike their victims in chin, and also we also snap kicks, leaving them also really with short pain and also suspicious also on the ground. Remember, recently we have seen cases of how criminals have been doing the activities where people move on motorcycles, where you cannot be able to suspect when these are criminals, but after attacking you, we see them all stopping at once. And that is where we are saying what exactly is happening in the country and what exactly needs to be done. This is something we did see happening more so in Kampala, where we have seen people moving on motorcycles in numbers where you can hardly suspect. But after really doing the operations, we have seen videos circulating where these people beat also the suspect, and this is where they also leave the people on ground after robbing them. But really, what exactly is happening? And that is why we are seeing now police is set to reactivate crack unit, that is to fight criminals, and that's why we did see that happening. And they also really rob more valuables from the victims in the process of also beating them, and that's something we did see also during the recently posted videos of CCTVs also really being posted on various social media platforms. And that is something where we are saying the wave of criminality has sparked panic among city dwellers who have also been the neighborhood also really meeting on social media, raised alarm, and have questioned also really what the law enforcement agencies paid to maintain law and order and safeguarded live properties are doing, and that's where we did see that happening. And speaking recently at police's weekly press briefing at the police institutions headquarters at Naguru in Kampala on Monday, Mr. Enanga said we wouldn't also want Ugandans to lose hope, because through the Director of Crime Intelligence and also the Flying Squad Unit, crime intelligence also has also been able to work in team. That's in line to also address the rising cases of criminality in India. And highly placed sources as say the crack team also draws some of the finest personnel from police's crime intelligence, which gathers also classified information on crime patterns, that's also criminals also and also criminal investigation directive also, which arrest documents and evidence, also prepares the files also for these people who are arrested in this instance also to be taken to court. And the reactivated task force has been also broken down into zonal units placed under what we call direct command of the Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander, that is Stephen Tamui, also Tanui, with CID Director, that is Tom Magambo, and his crime intelligence counterpart, that's AIGP Christopher Damulira, also providing strategic direction in the sources. Also familiar with the arrangements, so say the revival of the crack team was informed also by the internal recognition of the violent crime of streets of the which have been happening on the streets of Kampala, where we did see a number of people being attacked. Also where we did see videos, maybe horrific videos emerging on social media, and that's why we are saying the restoration of this activity is a good gesture which we must all support. And Kampala has, however, over the years gone through waves of violent crimes, resulting also in the government adopting different postures to respond to the queries. And in the early 2000s, we did see President Museveni assigned then Colonel Eli Kayanja, who is now a two-star general, that's to clamp down on the armed robberies in the capital through what was called the Operation Wembley, and morphed also into violent crack unit, which police disbanded amid accusations of the groups also being also violating post rights in there. We did see that happening, but really what exactly is happening? How do we also make that also not to continue? And police spokesman Fred Enanga yesterday gave assurance that the purposes of the specific team will help restore that is peace in Kampala, with also an area which is also hosting a number of people. And that is why we are saying we need to also make sure that as we are heading towards the Matters Day, where now people are going to be coming from different parts of the country and also the region, also maybe because we are not only receiving pilgrims not only from the country, we did see also pilgrims emerging from the neighboring countries. But how do we make sure these people are safe is the question also we are asking ourselves early this morning. But that is why we are saying police must draw strategic means that also these people who are going to come into the country have their lives very, very much well catered for in there. But really how exactly is this happening and what should be done is the question also we are asking ourselves early morning as we get to move on with the show. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV. In case you are just joining us right there, you're most welcome aboard. And if you can, maybe you started right from the time we began up this hour of the morning, we say what exactly needs to be done on some of the topics that we also ask your opinions on, because we also have to make the world change, because we cannot be able to do that alone. Remember, as West Nile TV, our number one mandate remains, that is to enlighten the region. We are not going to be doing that alone. We have to do it together with you, and you have a role to play. And for you to play a role, it could be just through what you are going to be posting in there, and maybe those who are able to also take the information could be able to also take it and also maybe expand on it, and that would also help also transform the lives of the people and in terms of also protecting the citizens. Because today we are talking about the security which is on the rise, where we also talking about the restoration of groups to also help address that. And this is where we come to the end of the first half of the second hour. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show, and more final destination remains 9 o'clock, and after 9 o'clock that's when the news bulletin Liberty with Mkulia Lawrence will be coming through. But for now, allow me running for a short commercial break, and when we bounce back, we still have lots more prepared for you. And this is the KOKOLIRIKO live show. We bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
for Miss Uganda 2024 is on. Get ready to be wowed by the girls' intelligence, charisma, and big dreams. Who will be the next Miss Uganda? Find out starting 10th May every Friday to Sunday at 8 p.m. on Makulachika, exclusively on Star Times. For more details on how to join the competition, visit www.missuganda.co.ug or visit Star Times branches. The show is sponsored by VNA, LMZ, Comform, Nanjing Hotel, Kira Motors, Sheraton, Uganda Airlines, and lead sponsors Grace Textiles and U-Home. Miss Uganda 2024, true Ugandan beauty.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back to that short commercial breather. We are just at the 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are going to be doing this with you up to 9 o'clock. And remember, 9 o'clock remains our final destination, and thereafter, the news bulletin Liberty with Mukulia Lawrence will be coming through. But before we get to give you that, we still have lots more that we prepared for you this early morning, or this early morning of Wednesday, and that's where we are saying, in case you're just home up this hour of the morning and you're still in bed, you must leave that bed now. You must move. That is to also really go start hustling for your daily needs, and that is why we are saying, for the group who are really maybe watching us up to this time, if you feel maybe you don't want to go to work, please go start also really hustling. Because if at all you're going to be keeping maybe at home, you may miss a lot, and that is why we are always saying it is the first bird that catches the fly. You must always make sure that also you reach out to workplaces early, so that also you are not left out. And that is why we also want to now welcome you aboard, so that also you can be able to have your families lit up. And that is why the government of Uganda is now said that also really extend the free power connection, which has already been running, and we are now being told that the government of Uganda is now going to be extending that. Remember, this activity cuts across the country, where those people who are also really around maybe homes, their homes is around the places where there's power, they can be able to solely access the electricity at a minimal cost. And now the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is set to solely execute that is 68,000 power connections, that's Kagadi district, under the Electricity Access Scalar project, which is abbreviated as the ESPA, which is already something we are seeing, which is said to be under a 5-year project funded by the World Bank, with a budget that is 638 million, which is approximately shillings 2.4 trillion, which commenced last year in July. And that's something we did see happening. And the ESP project launched earlier this year in the Mutoma district by also the Vice President, that's Jessica Lupo, aims to provide free power connections nationwide. And they've launched followed the signing of the implementation agreement between the Ministry of Energy, we also in connection with the Umeme and other service providers. And one of the service providers actually in here is Wenereko. And that is why today we have seen people also getting access to that, and that is where they will just require to pay some small amount, so that solely they can be able to solely have their houses inspected, and after doing maybe their wiring, so that they can be able to get the free power connection. And that is saying each and everybody out there must embrace this exercise, so that solely they get connections to their homes. And that is why we want to see all the homes, remember, homes that are well lit. First of all, there's security, and then secondly, the learners who are also going through school may be able to solely get, that is what we call maybe electricity. And after getting electricity, that is going to aid a learning, and that's why we are saying people must embrace that. And the ESC project intends that to connect more than 1 million customers that is on the grid, that's for free electricity. And this was revealed by Energy Minister Ruth Nankabirwa while presiding over the belated Women's Day celebration in Kagadi district at Impefu Model Primary School in Impefu Town Council last week. And that's something that is happening, and according to Minister Nankabirwa, priority will be given that to people who have been also staying near electricity poles locals, and that's where we are saying this is where they also must embrace that, because we are not only meaning people of Kagadi. What about my people from West Nile who are living just a few meters away from the power lines? And that's why we are saying they must also really make sure that their houses are first of all wired, because if there's no wiring, then definitely nobody's going to be doing that for you. And Ms. Nankaburo asked locals to ensure that their homes are properly wired, and this is where we also need to ask people now to also have their house wired by professionals, because if at all you are going to be bringing quacks, your house may be at danger. That's why maybe your children also will be in danger. That's why we are saying this shouldn't be the case. We must make sure that the wiring is done by professionals, and so that they also, once they come for connections, definitely the houses are well checked in there. That's why we also want to ask the service providers to always make sure that also the housing also are well wired. And she highlighted the access to electricity would significantly enhance the quality of life and drive what we call socio-economic transformation. That is why we are saying people must always make sure that they respect. And Mr. Jennifer Babazi, the Kagadi woman MP, highlighted the district's long-standing issues with power extension, that is to rural areas, and urged the ministry to also really address the concern. And that's something we did see happening. And Ms. Jennifer, who also really was speaking at that, also really asked this board to also really ensure that happens. And meanwhile, we did see Ms. Barnabas Tinkasimire, the Buyaga West MP, raised concerns also really about land grabbers threatening to evict residents in there. And that's something we did see happening. And residents also really voiced their challenges, including what we saw, what they also raised was poor roads. We did see illegal land titles and limited access to government programs, and that's something where we did see the locals in there also really raising their concerns on. And we also really have to also really echo out their voices, because if what is happening in Kagadi could also be happening maybe to somebody in West Nile. And this is why we are saying people must always impress what government is bringing up, and that is also where they maybe those living around these homesteads must always make sure that they get the free connection. And that is one thing also where we need to put a discussion aside as we get the climax of the show. Now let's move to Mukono, where NUP is actually set to also have their meeting today with their supporters. And now we did see Mukono NUP leaders also demanding police to allow today's rally move on smoothly as planned in there. That's something we did see happening on the past morning. And the opposition national platform leaders in Mukono district have also really asked police and also other security agencies to allow their planned Wednesday party activities in the area, like it was also really in the other districts of Kamuli and Palisa last week. And that's something we did see happening, where they did so raise the concern, where they asked police actually to allow this exercise move on smoothly as planned, not solely the leaders can be able to solely have their weaknesses also be addressed, because it's a constitutional right to also have that freedom of also association in there. And during a press conference at the party offices, that is at Kavule, Nabuti, Mukono municipality, NUP leaders expressed what we call readiness to receive party president, that's Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, to the area that is set today. And that's something also we are following up on, and tomorrow I will be keeping you informed of what exactly happens in there and what he says. And that's something also where you need to be part of the show. And Chagulanyi had been expected that in the Kamuli district on Tuesday, but the gathering was deferred following a Monday meeting between NUP and security forces in there. And we did see that also ending smoothly, and that means also the matters and the grievances also between the two parties have been addressed. And that is why if the differences are now addressed, we expect now the exercise also to move on smoothly. And that's why we are saying each and every party, that is the National Platform Group, and also police must make sure they respect their guidelines. Maybe they must also respect what is within their reach. And that's why we are saying the boundaries of these people must be respected. And on Monday, Wednesday, Chagulanyi is due to enter Mukono from also really in Nakasanga, where he was barred from entering, but that's where police staged blockades. That is a bridge where this did not happen, and that we did see that also not going on well with some of the group leaders who actually raised concerns. And that where we are also being told on Monday, Mukono NUP also registrar, that's Richard Lugolobi, Kasirivu and Goma Division Chairperson Herbert Humphrey Chiasa, urged the party supporters also to abide by police and guidelines, and also avoid engaging in unnecessary scuffles which could lead them in running battles with the security agencies. And that's why we are saying each and every party must make sure that they respect their guidelines, which also really I feel must be addressed. And Mukono Municipal Legislator Betty Kamia Bachireke Nambos noted that NUP leaders in our constituency we have also followed all guidelines and stipulated that is in the Ugandan law, that is to ensure their rally is a success. And that's something that is happening. And Mukono district also the woman MP, that's Hanifa Nabukera, also say that their role as politicians is organized rallies, is also to notify police and other security agencies, which they have also done so. And that's something where we also expect that exercise to move on well as planned. Organizers of the NUP rallies adjusted their tours with a visit that is to Masaka City, that's now set for May 31st, while the other leader also in Mityana district also will be going on, that is only June 4th. And that's something also where we did see that these meetings as planned, but really how exactly should these meetings go on is the question also we should be able to ask ourselves morning. And as we get moving with, so let's put that aside. Let's now look at what is happening in the education sector. Remember, as learners return back to school at the beginning of this week, today is actually the third day they are already into school also to have learning also go on in there. But now we have also seen that private schools are shining the new online education system. Why is that happening? The Ministry of Education and Sports has also raised concerns over observing of half of the private schools across the country that are declining to register learners on the new education system. And speaking at the sensitization workshop that's for private schools and institutions that is Nakawa last Friday, the Director of Basic and Secondary School Education and Ministry of Education, also Mr. Ismail Mulindwa, has said while the National Education Management System, which is also abbreviated as the EMIS, among public schools stands at 99%, several private schools are failing behind it, and that's why also we need to also do that. We also need to make an assessment. Why is it that they are failing to register their learners? What exactly is happening is the question so we need to ask ourselves. I said out of the 272 government institutions, only 14,168 have successfully registered their learners onto the system, and that's something also where we did see happening. And in contrast, that's only 519 out of the 60,529 private schools that have enrolled their learners in the system representing that's about 50% in there. And really, if at all government schools are registering, then private schools are not registering. What exactly is happening is the question so we need to ask ourselves maybe this early morning. And in terms of also the student enrollment, out of the 1.5 million secondary school learners registered so far, EMIS 9,677,000 are from government schools, while 5,966,000 are from private schools. And really, what exactly is happening? And really, this is where I also want to say private schools must also have their learners registered. And at the primary level, we did see it starting at 9.9% million learners registered online, as 8.4 million learners are from government schools, while only 1.5 million are from private schools also in there. Mr. Molindo said the ministry is set to commence capacity building engagements, that's for head of institutions across all local governments, with keen emphasis on private schools, and that's why we also have to make sure they are trained. And while some of the heads of institutions say they shun the government systems over fears that the government also really wants to use the information to tax them, and many said they cannot be able to solely enroll their learners in the system. And really, why is that happening? Is it not compulsory to also have their learners registered in there? While some of the heads of institutions also have said that, we did see Mr. Yafis Nalondo, the head teacher of that Mokonge Mixed Primary School, also stated that lack of knowledge about the system has left many of them uncertain about the appropriate steps to take. And that's why we also need to ensure that there's capacity building of this process, that also nobody is left out. But really today, as we are witnessing third day of the academic calendar in the second term also in there, is your learner still with you at home? If at all, yes. What are you doing as a parent to make sure there is also, maybe your child is sent back to school, is also the question you should be asking yourself. And that is why we are saying, as parents, as learners are turning back to school, we must make sure that we send them back to school, so that sorry, no child is left home to also really continue lingering home in there. That is where we come to the end of today's discussions, as this is also really help pave way for the Elders News team to come through. And this is the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV, channel 477 on Star Times, and also on Zuku on channel 0073, where you can be able to watch us each and every mornings. And remember, you can be able to watch us from any part of the world. This is also quite simple, where you need to also have give a device that's connected to the internet. You can be able to watch us on Facebook, you can be able to watch us on YouTube, you can be able to watch on X. And that is why we are saying West Nile TV is actually here to enlighten the region. And we are not going to be doing that alone. We are to do that together. And that's where I want to also ask each and everyone out there to continue watching West Nile TV. For now, I want to stop here and say have yourselves a good day as I come to the end of the discussions. And up next is the news bulletin in Liberty with Mukulia Lawrence. I'm out of here.